And so, the haunted truck goes around the quarry, hoping to seek revenge on the engines that had accidentally killed him from inside the mines. If you're at least gonna tell a scary story, at least make it sound real. Hey, it was just for fun. So, have you got any spooky stories to tell? Well, I have one, but it's a real one. Let's hear it. I bet it won't scare me. Well, before I came to work here on the mainland, and while I was in London, I met this small engine called, what was his name? Jennings. He was on this train that was heading to Sodor, where my brother Thomas currently works. Yes. He and I met up. Well, we didn't necessarily meet up at any narrow gauge tracks in London, but he was on a train heading there, and he told me about this engine that used to work with him before he was sold to the Mid-Sodor Railway I heard about on Sodor from him. That's where Jennings was going. Oh really? What was there? He told me this about this engine called a blacksmith engine that looked just like him and his other brother, who I think was named Smudger. Yes, I did see Smudger with Jennings. They were both heading to Sodor at the same time. And they both told me about this blacksmith engine. And people called him the mast engine, though. The mast engine? Yes, because he wore a black mask on his face. That's probably why they called him the blacksmith engine, too. But anyways, he was called that because he wore a mask to help him protect his face from flying sparks. He enjoyed his job so much that the other engines there got jealous, and they often called him names and were rude to him, but he didn't care. But the other engines decided to pull a prank on him, but they took it too far by accident and ended up burning his shed. And then when the manager came, they told him that the blacksmith engine caused it, and the manager was filled with shame and sent his body for scrap. But the driver of the engine was filled with rage and took the remains of the engine somewhere else. And then a month later, the bully engines and their crews were inside the sheds. It's when they heard an unfamiliar knocking. They weren't expecting anyone, so one of the drivers went over to the door to see what was out there. They thought it was just an animal or something, waiting to be scared off. But whatever was out there wasn't going to be scared off. And so, the blacksmith engine charged into the shed, using his flamethrower to finish off the engines and their crews. And of course, the police were called to the scene the next day, but only found the fried, mangled bodies of the engines and the crews, with no engine who could have possibly destroyed them. Nobody knows or wants to know where the mast engine is now. You mean he's still alive? Oh yes, he is, and he could be anywhere. What was his real name? Oh right, yeah, I never said, did I? It was.
Job there, buddy.
Thanks. We got them good, didn't we?
We did indeed. Now that they are gone, it's time to take these trucks to the railway, and they will love me and make me the new number 105 of this railway after Charleston's put out of business for his rough riding.